currently 1 for 2. No, they're not. They're 2 for 2, aren't they, because they played earlier? No, they didn't. What am I on about? They're 1 for 2. I'll get there in the end, don't worry.
Well, something kind of interesting looking at against Authority right off the bat. No, he's running that flat armor pen not yet again. This is his first game. 15 flat, which I believe Genja was the other one that does that. We have Yellow Peak who runs 13, so it gives him that extra damage in lane mixed in with the poke from Sona could be quite interesting. But Gambit currently setting up just for a defensive kind of level 1 right now. But looking at who has a stronger team fight, it depends if Virtual actually levels up that taunt or not, because that creates a lot of problems for Gambit. Like, Gambit does have pretty much the upfront damage you would want out of your team.
Yeah, this could be a very interesting game. We've said it before, against All Authority coming in. They said themselves in that pre-match interview video that it was a miracle that they even got this far, that they are even here in the EU LCS, which is a very interesting statement to make. We'll see how that all ends up panning out here in their match against Gambit Gaming. But it looks like we're not going to be seeing any or too much, if any, action here at level 1. Gambit just around their own blue buff. The Caitlyn Lulu combo are there, and we can see that Graves Sona are actually going up and Kennen is coming down. So this lane switch is going to come down for against All Authority, which, as you mentioned earlier, Jason, is something that Freddy did a lot at the qualifiers.
Yeah, he did, and it's not a bad idea to shut down Darren as quick as possible on that Kha'Zix, because once he gets rolling, he's going to just trail through your team. But I love what Gambit Gaming's doing. If you look on their side with the ward control, they're just ensuring Diamond can get an easy jungle, get his easy double buff, and then get around for the ganks, like you were saying before. First blood on Lux from Hercubot. In his game on Vi, we might see that yet again happen. And Gambit, they're playing really defensive, but they're trying to create an opportunity for them to just take this game early on.
Gambit going to get that red buff done, as are against All Authority. Freddy giving a nice helping hand to Virtual here at the start of things. Both junglers going to be going smiteless by the looks of things for this first one. Darian, as you said, 1 versus 2. Jason, looking through the lanes, you know, who's going to be the strongest in this 1 versus 2 scenario? The Kha'Zix up there in the top lane, or is Kennen in the bottom?
Well, we have Kennen, who has no resource technically. It's energy, so it replenishes very quickly. You can spam the shurikens, as you're seeing him do that right now. But Darren, he has a sustain in lane because of his void spikes. He's able to heal off of them and really just kind of keep up in CS. He can last it under tower very easily with him, but you do see him taking a lot of chip at this point. He has that crystalline flash just to kind of keep his sustain in lane, but overall, I really have to give it to Gambit, and this switch is going to work out for them in the long run, as long as Darren doesn't get shut down too early.
Yeah, and just looking at the early items here, because we have got quite a few differences between each champion here. Kennen running that armor cloth, the cloth armor, plus the pots at the start, and Darian actually going in for the crystalline flask and pots. Virtual actually coming here into this top lane. They're looking for that 3-man gank, which is really, really obvious, to be honest with you, at this stage. And Darian shouldn't be falling for this one. They had a ward in that tri-bush. He's going to go in for that one and have no real problems with staying alive unless he gets caught out. But against All Authority, looking for a super early first turret.
Yeah, and that's actually a great play by them, and that's exactly what you want to do when you go for this lane switch, but they have to be able to take that advantage throughout the rest of the game. They're letting actually a lot of minions going to get through here, so Darren should be able to catch up as long as they kind of back off, and they in fact will. So that push, it worked out very well for them, but it's going to give Darren a lot of money. In the bottom lane though, Diamond, he was kind of waiting around for a little bit, trying to go for a gank at this bottom side for a 3v1, just like we saw it towards the top, and he did take away quite a bit of jungle, as they are going for an early dragon right now, Joe.
Yep, dragon started here by Gambit. They say, you take our top turret and go home. We're going to pool our resources and head down towards this dragon area. You can see that Lux is headed south here. We'll see what she can actually do. The light binding coming in, plus the E as well, but that's not going to be enough. Diamond takes it with the smite. Nice little early pickup for Gambit.
And that pretty much just counters that entire top lane tower going down. It gives them the gold they need. They lost a little bit of a map advantage up there, but it allows Darren to free farm. So as long as they can hold to this bot and middle turret and prevent the AD carry and support from kind of roaming around a bit, or at least getting a couple of kills, then they are going to completely benefit off of this this first tower and the dragon going down.
So have a look at the early CS here. Obviously, Darian's having a bit of free time in that top lane. He's now 16-12 in the lead. Vi ahead in the jungle. Mid lane pretty even, with Karthus having a slight advantage. Similar for the AD carries as well, 27-21, with Graves having the lead from that one. Interested to see what against All Authority's plan's going to be now they've got that early turret. Is he going to be settling into a more normal game in this bottom lane with the Sona Graves trying to bully out Lulu Caitlyn, which has got great pushing power here, as we can see Virtual coming around to this middle lane, going to get in towards Alexic. Have they got the damage to finish him off though? He's just going to be walking himself away. Virtual not going to be able to get in there, and Gambit Gambit not losing anyone.
Yeah, great gank right there. And you were mentioning if against Authority is going to kind of maybe be a little bit aggressive here, and if they don't, then they're kind of pretty much conceding that early advantage they got. Darren, he's still free farming the top lane. They're holding on to the bottom turret right now as you see them up against it, trying to farm all these minions. But if they can't kind of take that early advantage and push it on through the rest of the game, they're going to start to lose these fights when they finally do start to break out. As you see, Gambit still with the gold lead at this point.
Against Authority, though, are hammering away on this middle turret. Diamond just trying to get them away from that one. And they will have done enough there with those minions running out. But against Authority, probably going to be happy with that amount of damage. In the meantime, they're pushing this bottom turret as well. That Graves hammering away at Corralius, using that poke damage coming out. And now the sustain as well that you get from that Sona lane is definitely not to be underestimated in the long run.
Yeah, very true indeed. And it's kind of interesting is that Diamond isn't really swinging around towards this bottom lane. It looks like they might even concede this turret to trying to get Genja as much farm as possible. But if he's not going to come down to the bottom lane, he's going to let it fall, but that must mean he has some sort of strategy in mind later on.
Well, again, they forced the wave through. Edward actually below half HP now, and they need to be careful once Nono hits level 6, obviously, and he's got that collateral damage. That's when you get an incredible amount of burst damage coming out of the Graves, just throwing that smoke screen down to stop him from recalling home there, just delay it that little bit more. And to be honest, that might just be what they need to have that tower away now with only Caitlyn left to defend against that one. It's already got about a quarter of its health, so against Authority could well have it away in this wave. Obviously not super attack speed or damage just yet coming out of AA, so will take a while.
Yeah, even though they didn't get on that last wave, they're playing slow but steady, going to get that tower probably on this next wave unless Edward can kind of help out with that. We do have Alex Hitchie is level 6 right now, so if we see some sort of engage, which surprisingly, Diamond hasn't really put much pressure on the map on Vi, which he's such a strong early game champion, has such strong CC, hasn't really made much of that, but they do get that turret now up 2-0. They have the gold lead back in their favor. And Joe, taking back a look at this top lane with the solo laners, I'll say in the top lane, we have 48 CS currently on Darien to the 34 on Freddy. Darren was getting a huge lead on him, but Freddy was able to kind of get it back in his own favor. He has that Doran's Blade to just kind of last it a little bit easier and harass a little bit more. And we'll see if he can kind of keep the CS income or coming in, the money coming in so he can get a couple of items. So when they do need to start fighting these team fights, he's going to be tanky enough and have enough damage to lock down the enemy team.
AAA going very textbook here, actually. They've moved their AD carry support on towards that middle lane. Unluckily for them, obviously, we have Gambit with plenty of decent wave clear ability. Darien now coming back into his top lane after doing those golems as well. Like you said, he's got a substantial lead here in terms of that CS. Got himself the tier already finished, plus he's got that ruby crystal in there as well, the crystalline flask he picked up earlier on. Also for Karthus with the tier, looked picking up the chalice, which is all pretty standard stuff right from the start. The AD carries do have a bit of a difference about them. Graves got the Vamp Scepter, which makes him even harder to get out of lane, because obviously he's got the heals from Sona, plus what he gets back from the Vamp Scepter. Caitlyn, on the other hand, gone for that damage spike straight into a pickaxe.
Yeah, and no, I mean, he's sitting on 1,400 gold when he decides to actually back Genja, just sitting at 400 at the moment. It's going to create a lot of problems for Genja to compete in terms of damage with Nonu, who has that insane amount of burst. And I'm still kind of interested, actually, as he's engaging a little bit onto Genja, but a nice Nightkill Renette does help him escape, as you see right there. But it's kind of interesting is that Darien didn't build any damage items with that advantage he had in his lane, so he kind of went more towards a late game kind of build. The Ruby Crystal most likely can be going into a Warmog's armor.
Yeah, gonna get in healthy there. He wants to be that big tank that we've seen being so successful recently. Darien now is actually waiting there. Diamond's gonna join in the party as well. They're gonna try and lock down this Kennen, who's not an easy champion to lock down anyway, as they do see Darien jumping in there. Diamond coming from the side. Ultimate used out of Freddy, but can they lock him down for this one? He's gonna flash away. Ultimate coming out of Karthus. Shendid coming to join as well, and Freddy will survive.
And that CC was just insane out of their team right there. You had Darien get the slow. Diamond Proxy got a nice knock up to prevent it from going where Freddy, all he had to use was that flash, and they had that Shen ultimate just to make sure he survived, but still in the end, AA coming out ahead since they kept Kennen alive now. And Virtual going to get a little bit of farm here in this top lane because he's starting to fall behind. He's 27 CS to 40 at this point, and he needs to start catching up, needs to build a couple of items here just to be tanking up to deal with the burst damage Gambit has, but it looks like Gambit is kind of just buckling up for the long run here.
Diamond heading down towards this middle lane here. Once again, Wall of Pain goes down. Schleier actually will flash away from that one. He wants no part in that little party. He says, you're not going to kill me from that one. And then takes the rest of the minions in his creep wave as well. So where are Against All Authority going to go? Dragon is up, obviously was taken already the first time by Gambit Gaming. Fairly early pickup for them, but Against All Authority aren't going to want to surrender the second one. They've got that lead in the turrets. They're actually behind in gold, even though it might be only around about 200 or even less at this stage. This Dragon would be a big pickup for them in the big scheme of things. As Darren, you can see the Void Spikes already here at level 8 doing good damage.
Yeah, it really would indeed show that, and it kind of shows how how confident they are in their team composition to go against Gambit, because they should be stronger than them right now, and they're not really forcing that Dragon. But if they can keep Gambit off of it, I mean, even if they don't grab it, as long as they keep Gambit off of it, they'll keep some sort of lead and be able to pick that up whenever they want to. We have No in the bottom lane, solo pushing himself. He's getting quite a bit of farm. 104 CS, clearly leaps and bounds beyond everyone else so far, as we have 3/4 men in the mid lane for Against Authority, just trying to create a little bit of pressure and allow No to keep applying pressure towards that bottom lane. Yeah,
and that's a dangerous thing as well for Gambit, having the AD carry here of Against All Authority, having so much time to free farm. Obviously, Genja will get that back somewhat as the waves start to push up against his turret. But Against All Authority, again, they have 4 men in this middle area, but they're just not keen on going towards that Dragon area just now. Sonar is going back, which could indicate a pink ward pickup, and then coming down. Yep, there is the pink ward being secured. So I'm guessing that's exactly what they've got planned here. Get the ward down, clear out what vision Gambit have got of it, and then try and take the Dragon.
Yeah, very true. That should be exactly what's happening. But the problem is Gambit, they have a ward in the bush, a pink ward there, so it won't be spotted if Against Authority puts it in a pretty much standard place. We do have Darren in the top lane, still trying to push as much as possible. He's trying to create even more of an advantage, as he has 89 CS to that 52. And if he keeps doing this, I mean, once he has that first, damage item built, Gambit could easily engage and create a huge opportunity for them to kind of snowball the game.
Well, Darien already hammering away, but in the meantime, they know that Vi was there. They could still see that Darien is there, so they say, well, let's take the Dragon. And actually, Darien is coming down, so they're not going to have that turret away right now. They're going to try and contest for this Dragon instead. Kennen just waiting off in the wings. So Against All Authority have pretty much all 5 men there, but in the end I think they're a little bit too scared to throw away what they've built up until now, and we're 12 minutes 45 in, no first blood as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, relatively early right now. There's no point in giving some sort of advantage away, because they did create that with those 2 turrets going down so far. But they are being a little hesitant to engage against Gambit head on, so that actually might come back to bite them in the butt later on, when they start to kind of potentially lose these fights just because of Gambit building up the damage. Like I was saying, they're going for the long run, so they want to build up the damage, eventually. And when they get to that point, they're going to be so strong that Against Authority is going to have a hard time dealing with them. But we do see Schleia, he does have a new large rod now, so they could actually easily take this Dragon if they do decide to go for it. They have that pink ward down, but still not spawning the one Gambit has.
Yep, and now Gambit actually working their way in for that one. Lux is just waiting on that top side with the light bindings of Void Spikes coming over. The Wall of Pain will actually hit Corellius, but that Dragon has been taken by Against All Authority. Now they're going to turn and run though. Assault and Battery comes in. Corellius going very low. Put the Crescendo down. Didn't do a whole lot. It may have slowed Gambit down for a while here, but they switch over on towards Virtual. He will flash away, but Karthus is still up. Virtual goes down, and they're going to keep pushing. They're going to try and trap No here underneath his tower. There are traps down to try and get him. He is going to die. Diamond will flash, actually getting the shield there. He'll be fine from that one, and that was 3 kills picked up. So now they picked up the Dragon there, did Against All Authority, but at what cost? They've lost 3 men early on. 2 kills for this Kha'Zix, who whenever we seem to see Kha'Zix, he gets beastly. And also that one for the Karthus, who's got such a monumental CS lead already in the middle. That's only going to help things out.
Yeah, on top of that, Kelly has those 2 assists. It's going to give him his Catalyst right now. He's going to have, well, even extra lane sustain, but the thing is, the laning phase is pretty much over. But yeah, I mean, that Dragon, it was what they kind of needed to do, but they didn't escape in time. That Diamond Prox's ultimate just completely caught them off guard. Corrales got exploded on. The mid turret actually is getting very low right now, as you see Schleia pushing it, but Gambit looking very solid right now. And if Kha'Zix keeps getting a couple of kills or maybe assists, he's going to have the items he needs to pretty much dominate the other team. And he actually has Azil as his first item.
Yeah. Interesting choice.
It looks like potentially a Triforce. Potentially.
What else do we have coming in off the back of that one? As you said, Catalyst was finished for Alex. He also bought a blasting wand, by the way, at the same time as that one. So his gold really going through the roof after that one. But that's it. 3 kills at the start. We waited a while for that first blood, but they came thick and fast.
Yeah, and the blasting one with the Catalyst is going to go for Erotic Ages, obviously, but that shows their game plan. They want Alex in the middle of the fight. They want him to be pretty much tanking and yet doing a lot of damage, so they need to give that kind of item onto him. He's going to have the Saris Embrace eventually, which gives him that nice little bit of a shield, but that kind of shows you what their game plan is, and it's up to Against All Authority to kind of prevent that or at least counter it.
Yeah, and they've got the Lulu in there, which helps even more for Alex. You know, he's in the middle. That's your job as a Cartus to get in. As we see Darian going heavy on towards Freddy, who will pop his ultimate there just to stay safe. And just about works out for him. We see Virtual coming around the back, will get the taunt down, but honestly, I don't know if he's got the damage. And they've got Diamond Procs here. This could be a genius bait coming out for Gambit, as we are going to see Sona coming from that top side. Darian had managed to leap away. He flashes away from the Lucid Singularity as well. And that will be him staying okay for now. Against All Authority, didn't notice Diamond either.
Yeah, and in the bottom lane, we actually do have Alex is trying to go head-to-head against Nona right there. Decides to back away, but that was really funny because Diamond was just waiting in the bush. He's like, all right, we're gonna bait this in, we're gonna get a kill, and he sees the entire enemy team. He's like, you know what?
I'm just going to press B and I'll see you later. Hopefully you get away from it all, which he did. Credit to him. I mean, Darian doing a really good job there of chaining everything he had to actually escape that bit of a tricky situation. So that leaves Gambit Gaming just 1,000 gold in the lead. I mean, it's not a massive amount, but if you look at the global objectives that have been taken by Against All Authority at this stage, it's no real wonder. 3 turrets. They took that last dragon. Okay, Gambit had the first one. If we look at the gold between all the champions themselves here, just to kind of get an idea of where that leaves us at this scenario. We have actually 5,300 on Alex Ich in the middle lane, and on his opposite side, 4,500 for Lux. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea as to how that leaves us on the in the grand scheme of things. So question is, Jason, what's next here for Against All Authority? They've got that turret lead. They had the last dragon. They've lost, you know, these kills right from the very get-go, but where do they go from here?
The thing is, they're running against time at this point. You saw the Rotted Ages picked up on Alex Ich. They're really counting on Shlea to be able to burst someone down as quick as possible, mixed in with the damage that Nono can do. And the thing is, if they can't kill someone like that, they're going to have a really hard time killing anyone else on Gambit, because that's their whole thing. They try to burst someone down. They have Freddy to come in with his AoEs. He has a Seeker's arm guard, so he's going for that Zonia. So against Authority, they're going to need to start forcing some fights, or Gambit's just going to get too tanky, too healthy to do anything about it.
And right now we are going to see Darian diving into the middle. Ultimate coming out all up from everyone, in fact. Nice crescendo, actually, from Corellius. That may just be enough to save any kills going down, but will it be enough to save a turret here? We are going to see the laser surely come out. There it is, on towards Edward, but the Void Spike's coming in. Here is Freddy. They've managed to pick up Edward. Nice recovery there from AAA.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they needed to do. They landed that light binding. They put all their bursts down onto Edward, ended up killing him, and create a 5-on-4 advantage right now. However, they're not looking too healthy, as Corellius doing everything he can to kind of heal them back up, but they have to kind of defend this turret. They're still on the back foot. Corellius, I mean, he's not really tanky right now, and as you see right there, he's taking quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, just those layaways really knocking him low. And the thing is, at this stage, when it's 3-1, and they've had that turret advantage, if they're to lose this middle turret right now, pretty much negates any advantage that they had from that one. Yeah, okay, they've still got that top turret, but these middle outer turrets are what really makes a big difference. As we see Genji here putting damage down onto Freddy in the middle. Darian was off to the side. We've got Diamond coming in here as well. So another big amount of pressure coming down from the Russians onto this middle turret. They want to get results from this.
And the thing is, I mean, the pressure they're putting mid lane is one aspect of it, but then you have the pressure of Alex Ich. He's at 177 farm at this point, 102 to his counter. He's pushing that bottom lane by himself. He's building up so much damage, so much tankiness, as he has 1,200 gold he's sitting on as he backs out. It's really hard for Against Authority to do something about this, and they need to try to create some sort of pressure. The thing is, every sort of pressure they're trying to create, like every lane they're trying to push, it's getting countered by Gambit.
And we can see there that Slayer actually, rather than finishing off that Athene's Unholy Grail, has gone more the, okay, I really need damage at this point of the game. I'm going to go for that Rabadon's Death Cap, because we need to be picking up these kills when we get involved, and he can't wait to you know, finish that Athene's and then move into Rabadon's. Dragon is now available once again for the taking. You see the ward coverage there for Gambit is very, very strong around that area. There is one ward in the back put down by Against All Authority, but will they be able to hold off? Kha'Zix is actually leaving from that top side. Kennen is in the top lane. They know he's there. He's not going to be involved. Yeah,
I mean, you have Alex Each, Karthus, who was probably one of the strongest, you know, objective takers as they do secure that, as Lux almost took it away. So that gives him those 2 turrets to 1. But yeah, I mean, Karthus, he's one of the strongest objective takers with that single target damage from Defile. Not to mention he has that blue buff on top of that. So it's pretty much impossible for them to do anything to kind of steal it away. It was actually a great play of them to hold back on damage and then finish it off with that smite.
And Alex again then just going straight down into this bottom lane. He's got the blue buff on. He can spam all day long and push these lanes out, and someone is going to have to come down in there and try and deal with him. This time it's going to be No. Wall of Pain will block his entry in towards Alex, and he will be quite happy to just say, all right, stop farming, Alex, stop pushing this lane, and you know, let's neutralize that one a bit. We can see Trinity Force has been finished for Kha'Zix, so interesting route that he's gone in there, Jason. We've not been seeing really Trinity Force coming out. Obviously, this is the patch where Trinity Force's combined cost was knocked down to 3 gold from the 300 that it was before. So maybe that's why he's thinking, okay, we can go in for that one. What do you think to that?
I mean, it gives him quite a bit of good stats. It gives him a little bit of AP, which gives him a little bit of extra healing from his Void Spikes, but it gives him the health. It gives him a nice slow. It helps out for, you know, sustain in fights because they're going up against so much burst. He had to build health somewhat. Really curious why he didn't decide to go for a Warmogs instead and go for the standard Brutalizer Bloodthirster combo, but so far it's working out for him as he sees 2-0-1, has a huge farm advantage over his his opponent, Freddy. And, I mean, it's just not looking too good for Against Authority. They're losing that window they need to be able to burst someone down, as you saw, like you were saying before. The Rabadon's Death Cap picked up on Shlaya just so they can kind of lock down a kill and secure a kill.
Well, if we look at the CS again, it tells a bit of a sorry story for Against All Authority at this point. 170 to 123 from the top lane, as Lux just going to clear out that minion wave in the middle. Middle lane, 208 to 128. They're massive leads, yeah. On the other side, a 20 CS lead for Graves over Caitlyn, but that doesn't quite match things up. That doesn't really equal things up in the grand scheme of things. And Gambit, they really want this middle turret. Diamond's doing the war dance there at the front of it, saying, come get us, because they want to take this middle turret down and grant them that big boost of vision.
And they easily could take this down if they want to. The thing is, Genja, who's kind of not even there at this moment, taking on those wraiths, they have the items they need. They have those big items. They have the Infinity Edge done on Genja. They have the Rod of Ages and the Seraph Embrace done for Alex each. So they have the ability to tank the damage that's going to come at them. But it's all about them, you know, engaging when they want to, or creating an opportunity when they want to.
Well, we've got the pause. No information as of yet in game, actually. So we'll just wait and see what they say. It was actually Gambit who paused that game, so I'm assuming issue lying over on their side. But while we've got this time, I guess we can have a little bit of a look down the items. We'll start with the AD carries because there's a big difference between them and the routes that they've gone. Graves, Bloodthirster, Static Shiv. Still got those tier 1 boots and a Doran's Blade in there as well. On the other side, we have Infinity Edge plus the Berserker Greaves and Doran's Blade Cloth Armor coming out for Caitlyn. Middle lane, Rod of Ages, Zereth's Embrace, Sorcerer's Shoes for Karthus compared to Rabadon's Death Cap and the Chalice of Lux. The junglers, again, different path that they've gone. Diamond, we've seen him time and time again with his Zin, with that Volibear going straight in for that Locket of the Iron Solari, being a very effective item for him over the course, and also that Spirit Stone as well. And we've got the Warmogs finished on Shen. Top lane, which again is another lane with big CS difference, currently bang on a 50 CS lead for Kha'Zix. We've got the Seeker's Arm Guard in there. He's, as Jason said, going to be building up that one up towards that Zhonya's Hourglass now. Obviously got a different build path with the Seeker's Arm Guard coming in than before, and the Trinity Force plus a tier on Kha'Zix as well. 28.3 to 31.4 thousand gold, 3-1 in turrets still in favor of Against All Authority. Jason, where are the next big play is going to come, and who needs to be making them at this point?
Well, I mean, the big plays, it can go either way. I mean, if Against Authority can make some sort of big play happen, burst someone down on Gambit, they can start to take an advantage, start pushing, maybe get a couple of turrets and some extra gold in their hands. But then again, Gambit, they've been sending Alex to kind of split push, get some extra farm in, you know, just kind of keep the bot lane pushed in, get some really key items. And now they're sending Virtual to kind of, you know, push out that bottom lane. The problem is that if you do send Alex down towards that bottom side, Nono's the only one who can really stop him. With his damage, as long as he has that red buff, he can actually take Alex on 1v1. But Gambit, I mean, they could push turrets right now. They have the ability to. They're tanky enough. They have the CC they need. If Shen does come in, but it's not really going to cause too much of a problem. They're just going to ignore him. He is tanky enough with that Warmong, but that's about it. I mean, if you can't protect Lux, if you can't protect Graves, and Kenny can't even zone you just yet, you're going to have a really tough time winning these fights. So it pretty much can go in either one's favor. It just depends on how they execute it, Joe.
We can see that Against All Authority sat pretty much in silence as far as I could tell. I don't think anyone was really talking there. They know the position that they're in and what they need to do. There's Diamond on your screen having a scratch of his chin. Not because he doesn't know what's going on, but, well, probably because he wants to get there and go, oh, he's got an itchy chin, which is probably more likely to be the scenario for doing that. But yeah, no information as of yet. Hopefully we'll get that relayed to us here in a second as to what's going on so we can let you guys... apparently someone's got a nosebleed, which is never a good thing to happen, I suppose, in-game. Actually, Demon was playing a game yesterday. He was having a different kind of nosebleed with his illness, but that's why he benched himself today. But yeah, someone, I'm guessing from Gambit here, having a few problems, but hopefully that will be sorted out here.
That just shows you how intense the game is, Joe, is that one of the players got a nosebleed.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it is intense, and when you're focusing that hard, you probably don't even notice it for 5 minutes. You're like,
there was a pool of blood in your lap.
It's just like, wow, I've got blood everywhere. I didn't even realize that's how much I was focused on taking this game. But you can see Moscow 5, Gambit, the former Moscow 5, staying, again, very, very focused. That's a trend that you'll see that I don't really even need to mention, to be honest, when we get to these pauses, that everyone's so focused. If they talk, it's about the game. They're, you know, not really much joking around and things like that. They want to get this one going. Of course, this is Against All Authority's first matchup in the European LCS, and they want to stamp a mark on it right from the very get-go.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true. And during this pause, it gives them the opportunity to kind of talk about it. However, you don't really see much talking going on their side, but gives them that opportunity to, you know, take a second, you know, take a breath and look at the situation at hand and kind of come up with a strategy to counter that. But as you see, you know, Darren, he's talking away right now. It looks like they're focused on this game. They really want to close it out and kind of get out of that bottom half of the bracket.
Well, I'm not sure who it is who's got the nosebleed, because I've not seen anyone even missing from the chair right now. Actually, I think Gosu Pepper's the only player that we've not seen. Obviously, now known as Edward. Going back into the old school, calling him Moscow 5 and Gosu Pepper, but you guys know who they are. But we should be getting on here. There we go. Finally back from the pause, so we can get back into the game, figure out exactly what is coming next. You can see Pink Ward put down there right in the middle, then another ward just a little bit further, slowly but surely edging their way to the turret.
I think if that was Edward with the nosebleed, that's the blood of all the champions he kill stole from. Okay, that was a little awkward. Anyways, though, Joe just leaves me hanging, goes quiet.
I left you hanging on purpose there, Jason. You need to learn about these puns. You need to learn.
It wasn't even a pun.
Well, I know.
Just a statement. God. Anyways, though, we do have Vi in the top lane going for a push here. And, I mean, Virtual having a hard time doing anything against Alex in that bottom lane. Doesn't have that blue buff, so he isn't able to keep pushing as much as possible as he's trying to go head-to-head against him. But as the top side, as you're looking right now, trying to hold on to that turret, but it looks like it's going to go down very shortly.
And Virtually just trying to dodge those layaways, pretty much just walking into them as he went. And I think there's a problem here for Freddy in the fact that Vi's so tanky that I don't think he could kill him, even if he threw like everything that he's got in his arsenal at him right now. I mean, he's a level behind. That's the top laner who's been solo for, you know, quite a while, is a level behind the jungler from Gambit Gaming. That doesn't tell a good story right now for Against All Authority. They're going to lose this turret here with Genja actually coming in there to help it, and that will bring us back to 3-2 in turrets.
And this is starting to give Gambit a nice little bit of gold lead as they are up about 4,000 at this point. And this lead they're getting, I mean, they can use it to their advantage. They're going to pick up a couple more items, maybe get a little bit more tanky if they need to. We have Genja sitting on 1,600 gold, so he can buy whatever he wants to when he backs. Probably a BF sword or maybe a Zeal for some attack speed. And then Diamond, who has quite a bit of gold in his pocket too, sitting at 1,800. So Gambit, I mean, they have the opportunity to go back and buy, as he does pick up Aegis of the Legion, but they can go back, they can buy, and then start forcing these fights if they want to, or just kind of play it slow and push these turrets.
Yeah, and from Gambit's side of things, you know, 1-2 currently in the group stage, or in the league. They don't want to be losing any more games. They don't want to be throwing another one here. Obviously, they've lost to Giants last week, which was the upset, the biggest upset that we've seen up until this point of the European LCS, and they don't want to be the focus of another upset here 2 weeks in a row. That certainly hurt their confidence a bit. We can see that against Authority here, actually getting a pink ward down as Edward going to take a lot of damage, everything coming his way. He's going to ulti himself and flash away. He will actually stay alive from that one, so good reactions actually coming out there, but they threw so much at him, and Jason, that's the support that they've just thrown all that at, and they still didn't kill him.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and now with this opportunity, knowing all these ults are currently down, obviously Lux doesn't have really a long cooldown, Gambit can make a really strong push here. They do get that middle turret, but yeah, I mean, if they can't kill Edward, how would expect to kill anyone else on the team who's already building tanking up? You have Genja, who doesn't really have any lifesteal just yet, but he's not really going to get in a position to get caught because he has the ability to get away with that 90 caliber net. He does have Cleanse and Ghost as well to dodge out of anything.
And his Caitlyn, you know, he's got that massive range. He doesn't need to be as close as anyone else would be to those fights that are going down. So once again, gold going to be creeping up for Gambit Gaming. They've equalized the turrets now finally. That's what we said about against All Authority in the early stages. Great stuff from them to pick up those 3 early towers, but if you can't turn 3 towers into 6 towers and then into Nexus turrets, then you're going to lose the game at the end of it. Yeah,
we've seen that happen, though, with pretty much, I want to say almost every team that qualified through LCS minus Fnatic. They have that hard time of getting, I mean, they get their advantage. They can do that, but they can't take that and roll with it the rest of the game. They can't push that advantage and kind of, you know, create the opportunity for them to win the game.
Oh, Genja just doing his red buff. Freddy going to be helping out here for Schleyer, who's going to be taking that blue buff away. Dragon is now up, and we can see that Gambit Gaming are going to be headed down there. Actually, there's a pink ward down, no wards down whatsoever from against All Authority. However, they're up by Baron, and that's something that Gambit are very conscious of here, that they definitely don't want to be trading a Dragon pickup for a Baron, as Darian here just unknowingly, I think, avoided all the skill shots that came out of against All Authority. He's like, well, got away scot-free from that one, as Diamond here coming around the side, and that's not position you want to be fighting in there. Those close walls, they're going to dive in, and, you know, the fact that Kha'Zix can cover all of you in those void spikes. He's going to be jumping in there all in your face. In the meantime, actually, Dragon was taken by Alex down there with Karthus.
Yeah, the mid lane, we do actually have that whole CC going down.
This could be bad news. I'm not sure that against All Authority really want to get into this one. I mean, it is 4 versus 5 there, but still you can see that Gambit forcing them completely away from that. The Karthus ulti was enough to scare them completely off it.
And the thing was, I mean, Corrales, he has an Oracle. He can create an opportunity in their own jungle for them to fight where they can lock down the entire enemy team. But they're just holding turrets because Gambit is not giving them that opportunity. They're not going to go into the jungle. They're going to push the turrets straight on. We have Lux's ultimate now down. So is Nono's. Corrales is the only one with his currently up. And there's not really much they can do against this push that Gambit's really doing. And in the meantime, at the bottom lane, Alex is still pushing by himself.
Yeah, he is still down there, hammering away on that turret. It's going to go down to half. Graves is going to be seen coming down to this bottom lane. Question is, can Graves actually take on Alex? It's Wall of Pain dodged nicely there by Nono. But Alex, look at this, he's going to turn around into him, puts the exhaust down. These lay waste over the top of the wall, enough to really force Nono to back off. And he thought that he could have Alex Itch there.
Oh,
okay, he's forced him away. Yeah, Diamond is not finished just yet. Will dive in there. Is he going to be able to get the kill? Quick draw away from Nono. And Diamond actually backs off in the end.
Yeah, Nono, I mean, with just the amount of farm he has, he's the only one on his team who's currently beating his lane partner. He's the one that has to make the plays happen, as you saw. I mean, going head-to-head against Alex Each. He almost killed him. He almost died on top of that as well, as you do see Genji going head-to-head against Virtual. But, I mean, even with just that Infinity's Edge and that Zill, he's able to take Virtual on 1v1.
Yeah, Virtual can't stand and bang with him here, especially with that red buff on as well. If you get into a fight, he's going to make you pay for it. The trap was just walked over there, so that bit taken away. If you look at the items, Kennen has finally got that Zhonya's Hourglass finished, got the Haunting guys in there as well. But to counter that, there's now that Warmogs added into the Trinity Force for Kha'Zix.
Yeah, it's pretty much for against Authority. They're like, okay, we got that big item we needed for Kennen to start getting the engage on the fights, but then it's like, oh crap, Darien has a Warmog, so they have the items they need to counter it at that point. So against Authority, they have to pull something amazing out, and they honestly could. I mean, you can't really say they're out of the game just yet, but they have to make some sort of big play happen if they want to get back in.
Yeah, Karthus also getting that Void Staff in there, as we are going to see Darren.
Was that Reginald?
Sorry, completely fails his jump. Hey, Jason, I think you've been bashing on TSM enough lately, son. You need to calm me with that. But yeah, obviously failed his jump over the wall there, which, you know, happens to the best of us, except Demon. He never misses a jump whatsoever with his Kha'Zix. But that can happen to anyone at the end of the day. But still, you know, Gambit, he was scary there, Darian. He forced him away, at least. That's what he was trying to do, was, you know, just jumping up and down just to scare him off and claim control over that area of the map, or something like that, at least. But yeah, Gambit here, you know, Baron is available for the taking. They're up to, what, level 16 now, with Kha'Zix 17, with the Karthus level 15. And if you compare that over, I mean, it's pretty close on that. They've got like a 1 level advantage in some places, but the big difference is Karthus to Lux, like 4 levels.
Yeah,
that's big.
And he almost has double the farm. He has the Seeker's Arm Guard now done. We'll have that Zhonya's done fairly shortly. Has a Void Staff as well, so he just wants to get in the middle of a team and just say, come at me and try to kill me, because even if they can, he's just going to sit there in his dead form and just put tons of defiles on, tons of lay waste, and just create it so Gambit can pretty much pick them up one by one. I mean, you do have a little bit of magic resist, but it's at that point where it doesn't even matter. I mean, once you're at that 80 MR point, the Void Staff's going to give you much more of a benefit, and that's the item he currently has picked up. We do have the Oracle still on Keralis at this point. Is about to run out, though, and they didn't really create an opportunity with that, which is a shame, because that's what they were trying to do.
Well, that's what you've got to do now with the Oracle, you know, that 5-minute timer, making it a very situational item, not something that you can just pick up and know, okay, I'm probably going to survive for a good while, so I can just leave it there. As Alexic actually just coming down here to stop Virtual split pushing, and he's not really had much of an opportunity to do that, which obviously as a Shen you really relied upon to do that kind of thing by your entire team. Alexic also got that Oracle Elixir on right now. They're pinging into the middle of the jungle, and we are going to see Darian dive in here. They're going for Freddy. Actually, the ace in the hole will land onto him. Shen going to come into the fight, but again, against all authority, don't want to fight there.
And it gives Gambit that confidence knowing, hey, if we do engage, they're going to run away. They don't really feel like they can take us on, which they honestly can't at this point. And we have Shen going for a ton on Diamond Procs, though.
And he's managed to land it. We are going to see the ultis chained together here, but the knockup from Lulu again really pushed everything back from them. Saved Gambit from really losing much, to be honest. Diamond lost half of his HP, but at the end of the day, he's got loads of health, so half of it is nowhere near enough the damage that they needed to put down in that situation. As we are going to see them here moving in again towards that turret as the minions come streaming in with Genja. They should be able to take it away pretty quickly. And, well, it's just a matter of time, to be honest, before that one drops.
Yeah, it was really interesting right there, because Diamond, he did get caught. He did have all the ultimates used on him, but with that little ultimate, with that locket of the Iron Solari, he was able to sustain it long enough to pretty much just make AA back off. I mean, after those ultis are down, they still can't even fight Gambit, which, you know, if they can't get someone low, if they can't kill him, first of all, and if they can't get someone low, then they're going to have such a tough time picking up any kills or converting it into anything for them. But Gambit, I mean, it's really interesting. They set Alex off by himself to go push a lane by himself, and that's kind of something you see, you know, the AD carry do to kind of farm up, because, you know, APs obviously do get are strongest in the middle of the game, and look at his farm right now. I mean, 339, what other items does he really need besides that Zhonya's, where his AD carry only has that Infinity's Edge and Phantom Dancer.
That's such great farm coming out as well from Alexic. I mean, you compare that, well, you can't compare that really, can you, to Lux, and that's the big point of it. You see the Phantom Dancer on Genja along with that Infinity Edge now as well. He's got 1,500 gold to spend, and just to have a look at the gold here on the scoreboard, 12,000 compared to 7,900 between the two AP players in this one. Obviously, with Alexic having the leaders, we are going to see Nono in trouble down at the bottom. Ace in the hole comes down. The jump not quite enough to get the kill, but Darian's chasing anyway, and he finishes off there in the end. Nothing that Nono could do about it. Actually, Alexic was coming down to joining the party if needed. In the meantime, Genja and Edward picking up a dragon.
And that is the 4th dragon of the game. We only had one over against Authority as they picked up the 2nd one, but Gambit, they're in the driving seat right now. They have a 9,000 gold lead, sitting on almost 10,000, which I'm sure they're going to get very shortly. We do have Freddy in the top lane trying to push as much as possible to create an opportunity, but Diamond is going head-to-head against them.
Yeah, actually, Freddy turning around here, but look, he doesn't really do that much to Diamond, and Diamond's going to keep pushing in here. He's going to be looking for this kill. Can Freddy survive this one? It certainly doesn't look that way. Karthus ultimate actually will come down. Diamond finishes it off before Alex can steal it.
I think Diamond's saying, no, this one's mine. I want it, as he just picks it up in the last second. So Karthus ultimate pretty much wasted right there, but we do have an engage on the mid lane.
Oh, that was an amazing play out of them. He jumps in, gets a Lulu ulti for the knockup as well. Have they got the damage to finish off? Corellius is going to flash. Darian flashes and jumps over after getting the reset. Schleier does get the Stand United just in time for that one. And there comes the laser as well. That's not going to be enough. In the meantime, though, while all this is happening, Diamond and Alex Ich just going to be taking the Baron down all on their own. And look how fast it goes with a blue buff Karthus. That Baron has got nothing.
Yeah, very true. That was such a really, well, I'll say cool fight out of Darren right there, because he dodged that Lux Snare with that flash, picked up another kill on top of that, but that just shows how far ahead Gambit is right now. We have Darren trying to go for engage again onto Virtual, but I don't think he can take him on.
Well, he might be able to when Vi's joining the party. Karthus coming down. Wall of Pain lands. Ace in the hole is down as well. Virtual forced to flash away. And he does get away in the end, but Gambit, they've got the Baron on now. They're going to be regenning everything back. They've got minions coming in. That inhibitor turret is going to be taking a lot of pressure.
And Genja sitting on 3,000 gold right now when he does decide to back. Darren backed with about 1,900, picks up a Spirit of the Elder Lizard just for some extra damage. And I'm curious to see if Genja's going to go for a Last Whisper as his next item. No, there's not too much armor in the enemy team. They do have Freddy with that Zonia's, but Gambit looking so solid right now. Looking well, pretty much like they, talked over that entire week and pretty much fixed any kinks they had.
They're looking like Gambit, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they're looking like the team that we all know that they can be, as the pink ward's put down here in that middle lane. Actually, I thought they'd started hitting it before, and if they'd just put it down here, they saw it being placed, and that's why they stuck that pink ward right on top of it. Always good to have the visions in there, the vision in the lanes as well. I mean, when there's no minions coming through and what have you, why not stick those wards in there? Have complete vision. So, Gambit are going to be pushing again towards this inhibitor turret. Virtual is the tanky one on the team for against All Authority. Obviously does have that Warmog's got the Sunfire in as well as they go in towards a fight. We are going to see Darian jump in. Alex Ich is right in the middle. The Lux laser not going to do enough as the Zonia's does go down. Schleier is going to fall. The rest of the team being picked off here slowly but surely as Karthus is going to be losing himself in that. Ulti comes down. Can they get kills off this one? Virtual going to get hit. Ace in the hole will give the double kill over to Genja.
And such a great little ultimate coming on to Alex right there. He overextended on purpose just to kind of get in the middle of the team, and with that little ultimate, with that Zonius, he's able to survive long enough that the rest of his team can pick them off one by one. A 1-for-3 trade in favor of Gambit, and now they'll pick up this inhibitor on top of that, and they still have a crap load of gold to spend, as Genja sitting on 4,000 at this point, and Darren sitting on 2,000.
Yeah, that is a lot of gold to be sat on here. But they're not done just yet. Red buff is up for the taking, and they're going to strip every last bit away that they can. Meanwhile, Darian is actually hammering away on that top inner turret as well. I don't think that Kennen can really do anything, as No maybe in trouble here as well. 90 caliber net from Genja will pull him in, but he is not getting away from this one. Will use his barrier, but that's only prolonging the inevitable.
And it looks like Diamond's trying to pad his KDA right now as he keeps taking a couple of kills right there, sitting at 205. I mean, look at the entirety of Gambit. There's only 2 deaths, one on the support, which we saw happen earlier, and then one on Alex, because that's exactly what he wanted to happen anyways in that fight. So Gambit, they're playing these fights exceptionally well.
They certainly are. And if you didn't watch the early stages of this game, you're probably thinking, well, this is a boring one, you know, 10-2 in kills, they're up 7-3 in turrets. But the actual fact is, in this game against All Authority, took the first 3 turrets. But then they lost 3 kills, and it all just kind of rolled on from there. So it's not like they've been super outdone in this game, but Gambit showing their class. And as you said, the difference between a great team and the best teams is being able to take an advantage and really push it home. And speaking of advantages, Freddy certainly doesn't have one right now. He's right in the middle of nowhere. Diamond and Alex Ich on top of him. It's Alex that picks up the kill.
And this just shows the confidence that Gambit has, because they have 2 people in the bottom lane. They have Genja coming back from the mid lane. As we do see Darren actually going in over the wall.
He's not messing around from this one. Actually, he's going to be popping that ultimate here. Can he get away? Lulu's shield comes in as well, and he didn't lose any health in the process of that one. And now he's going back in again on towards Virtual this time. Darian having a lot of fun with his Kha'Zix this time, jumping all around. What are they going to go for? Bottom lane is actually being pushed out as well. Corellius, you see, it's about 1/3 of his health taken there when he goes through that wall of pain, and the Q hits him there. The lay waste from Alex Ich. There is the second inhibitor going to be falling down as well. There are super minions in the base. Gambit could probably go for a final fight here if they really wanted to.
Wow.
See the poke damage coming out. Virtual down to less than half HP. Darian, Edward, Genja all hammering away. They should probably focus one of these these Nexus turrets. They've done good damage to both, as we are going to see the flash and crescendo coming out. It's not going to do really anything for them though. We've got Karthus here having to use a Zhonya's Hourglass. Virtual will die. Kennen is right in the middle of them. Freddy taking a lot of damage. Karthus ulti comes down and he just about gets out in time for the Karthus ulti to hit him. Schleyer trying to get back onto his fountain. Darian right in there, does actually get Lightbinded there in the end. Genja here taking damage as well, but he is still alive. Look at the Nexus turrets. One's down, second one will fall. Gambit Gaming here going to focus in on the Nexus. The surrender vote comes out and Gambit Gaming are able to take out Against All Authority in their debut game with a very, very convincing performance.
Yeah, as you saw in that last team fight, they've used everything they possibly could against Gambit, lined up their ultimates, and yet they still couldn't do any damage because of because they fell behind early on, and Gambit taking a very decisive victory.
Well, falling behind early on, they took those three turrets.
They had the advantage, but
they lost all the CS after that. They lost the kill. It was, I'd say, a bit unfortunate for Against All Authority. I think they had a solid foundation to start with, but
yeah,
alas, a team like Gambit, if they can find an opening, they will, well, find a bigger opening than you thought you'd given them. Anyway, that's enough from us here at the commentary desk. We're going to throw it over to Demon and Quickshot to break down the game.
Yes, thank you very much, and well, Quickshot, very quick finish really, once they got finally that advantage, but as Joe just basically alluded to there, Against All Authority they had the advantage, but they just don't know how to drive a wedge into it. I think that's the word he was probably looking for. They can't widen that opening they have, whereas, you know, the game was slowed down purely by the fact that they got them 3 turrets, and then they couldn't do anything else. Yeah. And this is something we're seeing a lot of from the newer teams.
The problem came in, they got that advantage, they got the towers, they got the map presence, but they fell so far behind in CS, they weren't able to battle. Now that they were pushing past the tower, or you know, into the enemy territory and needing to push beyond their safety net, they needed that itemization advantage to really press home any sort of victories that they'd gained early. And unfortunately, it just did not work out for them.
And we have a replay here, and this is really where things started to turn against them. Because actually, they got really early turret. I think if I look at my notes, it was 4-minute turret there, 4-minute 10-second dragon for Gambit. So it was very early stuff. You know, it was looking like a fast game. And then things slowed down basically off the back of this replay. Yeah,
pretty much. So we jump into the matchup here, and you can see that Against All Authority are setting up to take Dragon. So they've poisoned us. It's around 13 minutes in the game. We're bang on even in terms of gold. And you can just see that Gambit decide to move in for the engagement here. Dragon is going to go to Against All Authority, and I just want to pause at this exact point here. Look at the way Gambit are collapsing onto Against All Authority. Corellius is, you know, towing the line on the back there. He's defending his team, playing that sort of bait position. If you're going to get a kill, pick it up on me. But Gambit are not lining up for a crescendo. They specifically spread themselves apart to make themselves less likely to get caught. At this point now, you see the ace in the hole being targeted onto Corellius, and a big mistake comes up from Corellius. He flashes into his team. Now, this is the exact point that I lost it. I jumped out of my chair because Vi's Assault and Battery, you'll see she slams Corellius into the ground, deals damage to absolutely everybody, and Against All Authority do the best that they can, chunks him down, splits everybody apart, and here comes the damage burst. Corellius is removed from the fight. A good crescendo is at the very least going to kill them, as we do have a bug splat, unfortunately. But, you know, the crescendo completely locked them up, held them in place, and they landed the final spark, the Graves ulti, as well as Buckshot, and it did nothing. It chunked away about 30% of their HP, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough. You know, Kennen, they were on the back trot, they were running away, they didn't dive in with those ultimates, and because they were behind in items and in gold, they could not win that engagement, even with hitting their ultimates on absolutely every single member of Gambit Gaming.
And then slowly but surely, of course, Gambit just drove home that advantage once they started to claw it back. So, to speak about those advantages, we're going to go over to the main stage and we're going to grab a word with the Captain Glorious. You've seen him, he's got a Superman picture on the stage on the website, so let's check him out. It's Alex Itch.
Thank you. Yes, I'm here with Alex Itch from Gambit Gaming. Now, Alex, Against All Authority came into this one strong and pushing those 3 towers. How did you strategize against that?
It's like, well, we kind of expected that, but so when they were pushing the turret, we decided to go for Drake, so it kind of equaled our gold. So our bot lane doesn't like to push turrets that much. So we were just like a bit behind because of that. But we still got more solid team comp, and I think I got like 100 creeps advantage against their mid lane. So I was hitting hard, and they couldn't fight us 5 versus 5, and we were like always splitting them. So after they pushed the turrets, they had to split to all the lanes, and even like they got Shen, but I kind of negated his global presence because my ultimate was as hard as like his presence in the team fight.
So you kind of counterpicked them there? Did you strategize specifically against All Authority? Or did you just play your own game? Did you research them up front?
It's like we researched them in case of their best heroes. So we knew the heroes that they are playing that are really hard against us. It's like Nidalee and Ellis. We didn't want it at all because Freddy like carried 2 games against Dragonborns with Nidalee. So we decided that it will be good ban. And Schley plays a lot of Twisted Fate, and we saw it got banned like all the games, so we decided to not check if it's good or not. And after that, we just picked our heroes. I knew that my cards was really good against Lux, and we decided to swap Darren to Kha'Zix. It's not his usual hero, but still it went really well.
Now, last week you suffered 2 losses. Did you train differently this week than you did the week before?
Our schedule was like 4 hours per day, like from 4 to 6. We changed it to 8 hours every day. So we trained a lot and trained hard and came in much better form this time.
Thank you very much, Alex. Now, we're going to have a short break right now, but after this short break, we'll be back with our last matchup of the day. These 2 teams brought down the house.